Look, guys, I really think that Shelton Gibson has to step up, and I really hope this is his year, because honestly, you already saw an example of a receiver, especially that was drafted in the first round, that looked like he was undrafted off a high school fucking football team. Okay, and that man is Nelson Aguilar, and he had 2 seasons where we wanted him out of Philly after the second year was fucking over. After this first year, we said, I'll give him another chance. You know, he made some good plays here and fucking there, very small. Averaging about 300 yards in 2 seasons, receiving-wise. Shelton Gibson, this is a guy that I'm going to be looking out for coming to training camp. And this man, this guy was an outstanding deep threat for West Virginia, and he has to go out there and do his thing. Okay, we already know he had really bad individual drills. They showed him dropping balls at individual drills, running really bad routes. You know, he has to come up with something. I mean, it would be nice to have a guy, instead of going out and getting one, you can at least, I mean, I know we'd have to go out and get one, but I know Matt Collins is there, so relax. But I'm trying to figure out right now, man, could Shelton Gibson actually do it? I mean, he's got the speed. He had the best the NFL Combine this past, last year. He had the best shuttle run. Quicker than shit. Quicker, fast, and just elusive. But I want to like see him, a lot more. And I hope he at least opened these coaches' eyes a little bit, because, the Eagles were looking at Shelton Gibson for a while, since the middle of last year while the season was going on, when they were doing their scouting, and Shelton Gibson was on the radar. An article came up with Shelton Gibson on Philadelphia Eagles website. And, man, they've been looking at him, and finally had the chance to draft him, and we did. And honestly, I really hope that this kid could step up. I mean, just what he did in college was just absolutely amazing. I mean, he's probably one of those one-trick pony deep threats, but it's not a bad thing. Like, I don't really like one-trick pony deep threats. I like guys that can bring more to the table, as like getting 50-50 balls, catching, he catches very good balls, like, between, from the front of the goal line to the back of the end zone. He can catch balls, and he has very good foot placement. But, he just had a really bad camp. He really did. And I hope that maybe he could step the hell up, and things could happen for this guy, because I really do like him as a player. And, I was really excited to see him, this, training camp last year, but nothing worked out. And he was really, and what I was watching and what, what was said is he ran bad routes. I watched videos of him dropping balls. It didn't look good, and we don't need another player that drops fucking passes all the time, okay? This guy's got the speed, and I hope he burns someone this year. He already has a year under his belt now, okay? He's got the NFL experience. He's been in, he's come into a game or two at the end of the game, maybe. I think he only got 1 reception. I think he only had like 1 reception this year. That's it. I think he caught 1 ball this year. I forgot what game it was. I know he caught like 1 ball this year. For like, I don't know what it was, 11 yards, I don't know, nothing too fancy. But you know what, between Matt Collins and then, whoever's going to be stepping up for that starting spot for the deep threat this year, if Torrey Smith is released, there's going to be a new guy at that deep spot. I mean, we're not going to have just a decoy, a guy that's only going to produce 400 yards like Torrey Smith did. Need a guy to produce. And Shelton Gibson could be the guy. Now, you got Bryce Treggs. I think his name is Bryce Treggs, right? Right. Yeah. Came from the 49ers, got on a practice squad. Actually did a lot more. Last year, he actually had some playing time last year, Bryce Treggs. And, he caught some good balls here and there, but that's when we had Dorial Green-Beckham. Nelson Aguilar couldn't catch a fucking thing, and Jordan Matthews apparently our outside fucking receiver that couldn't do shit. So, not a good core. So Bryce Treggs got a lot of, he got a lot of a good amount of playing time with, with everyone else playing like shit. But it's going to be different, because Shelton Gibson is going to be Shelton Gibson and Bryce Treggs facing off at camp. That's my situational training camp. Who's going to go, who has to beat who? Bryce Treggs versus, Shelton Gibson. So that's what I have for that. Matt Collins, beats both of them out. But you want to have that deep threat ability guy that can go down the field and literally just beat anybody that's in front of him. This guy has to show up. Shelton Gibson has to show up, okay? If he doesn't show up this year or do anything to open our eyes, especially during the preseason games, then I don't think he's going to ever do well. And I understand, like, we gave Nelson Aguilar 2 years, but at least Nelson Aguilar made some plays here and there. You know what I mean? He at least made some plays. You know, this guy hasn't even had a chance. He hasn't had the chance because the Eagles went out and got weapons. So he didn't have a big chance to start or do anything. So preseason is going to be his bread and butter, and hopefully he can show us something because I'm really excited to see what they have. And I'm really excited to see what he has. So, you know, I have no problem with Shelton Gibson. It's just that he looked like what our receivers looked like, you know, last year. Just dropping balls, not doing the right thing, bad routes. And if you don't have that chemistry with the quarterback's not going to throw the ball in the right spot when you're should be in that spot. You know what I mean? So, you know, I was a big fan. I still am, and I really hope he turns it around. I really do. Shelton Gibson's got a hopefully a bright future ahead of him, and he could on this, you know, this Philadelphia Eagles team. He could. He's got, you know what I mean? He just got drafted this past year, so, you know, he's got another 3 years to prove himself, and, you know, if not, then, you know, more guys are going to come in, and then there are going to be more guys lining up in front of him, and then by that time, he probably won't even be on the practice squad anymore, and he'll probably be somewhere else trying to figure it all out. So that's all I got to say about him, guys. Shelton Gibson. What do you guys think about Shelton Gibson? Do you think he's going to have a good year? Do you think he'll at least show something this year with a year under his belt already in the system? And that's really all I got to say, guys. So shake squad off, fly Eagles fly. Peace.
Fuck your bitch, get a bag from it, then I never call her.